Let's stretch some glutes. Hi. Warm up your ass, then pick up heavy objects. I have a hack. Reduce your lumbar lordosis or scoliosis. I'm just looking for that feel of the stretch. Do not stretch your lower back. Can you wing it? Oh, you can't wing it. Hey guys, this is Katya here with Total Body Lab, your powerlifter and bodybuilder coach, and we are going to talk about strengthening versus stretching different muscles today. So if you're trying to stretch, but you don't know what you're stretching and why and how to stretch, or if you're like, I lift, but I don't know what to stretch, really? I feel like I'm stretching something. I'm strengthening everything. I think I'm doing a good job, but you don't know where the balance is. This is the video for you. Let's think about our body. How do we carry ourselves? How do we wake up? Where do we do things? How do we drive to work? How do we walk? How do we sit at the desk? How do we do virtually everything? We do everything in front of us, right? Our eyes are in the front. We are usually reaching forward. We are like almost never looking or reaching back. We would turn around and then do stuff that is still in front of us. So naturally, because the majority of the activities that we do are sitting at the computer, sitting at the desk, writing, reading, looking in front of us while seated at the desk, right? The majority of us. Anyhow, we are a little bit hunched and crunched, and the activities are still in front of us. Even if we're not sitting at the desk, we are probably cooking, we are probably playing a game, at the TV, on the couch, even deepening this kind of posture, maybe picking it up and then putting it back. Anyways, you see this movement? I did this just a bunch over the last 20 seconds. Our chest muscles are usually overstrained. They're usually over tight. So the number one thing you need to stretch is your chest muscles. How do you stretch your chest muscles? Well, where's my ball? This is a lacrosse ball. You can buy a yoga ball. It's naturally the same thing. It is just a solid rubber ball. I can bounce it on my table right here. Okay, enough proof. It is solid. It is not like a tennis ball. A tennis ball is not enough. You can take the ball, you're going to come to the wall and place the ball in between your chest and the wall and just push with your chest against the wall and roll it from attachment to attachment. Both men and women, it's the same. Yes, women have more fat tissue above our chest. Men have less. You can roll it until it is uncomfortable. If you have large breast tissue, as a woman, just roll the top, okay? You don't need to roll the bottom if you have big boobs, okay? I am a lucky owner of small boobs, so I can roll the whole thing, which is awesome. I could never appreciate small boobs more than later in life. Like every year, I appreciate more boobs more and more. I can run without a bra. I can sleep on my stomach. I could probably bench press more if I had bigger boobs because less range of motion. But anyways, let's not go in there. And I can roll the whole damn thing with the ball. It's fabulous. Okay, so number one thing you're gonna roll and you're gonna stretch is chest. The second stretch that I really love is door stretch. I'm gonna come here, place my hands on the door, and you can do this anywhere. You can do this on the wall. It's just gonna be one pec at a time, okay? But with the door, I can do both. I can create this right angle in the elbow, right? And just slightly lean forward. I'm gonna try not to do this and not to increase my lumbar lordosis. I'm going to tilt my pelvis back and push my chest forward, right? Watch for any impingements or discomfort. Don't overdo it. And you literally just hang out here until you feel a good stretch, which is normally like about 2 minutes. Most stretches you want to do over 30 to 45 seconds because only then your muscles relax enough they can actually stop being freaked out and saying, oh my gosh, we're like slipping on ice. We gotta catch her right now. Only then they can relax enough that they can actually lean into the stretch. So if you're stretching for like 15 to 20 seconds, that is not enough because your body is not rested into the stretch yet. Okay, let me get back to the couch. Most people, when they work at the computer, and they want to stretch something in their upper body, what do they think about? Neck. They do this, and they do this, and they do, and their chiropractor does, or whatever they do that feels like, oh, it cracked my neck. It's put in place. It's so awesome. Your neck is already in freaking place. Okay? You don't need to crack your neck. By yourself? Definitely not. Especially by yourself. Your posture. I get this question a lot. How can I fix my posture? How can I fix my posture? Your posture is going to be the same for the rest of your life, because your bones can only change structure if they are broken and they regrow together. And that is not what we're trying to do here, okay? You can stretch soft tissue, you can strengthen soft tissue. Your hard tissue, your bone, you're gonna alter it after you're like 15 or 16, right? So if you haven't done any manipulations by then, it's too late. You can only maintain your postural dysfunctions and not have them worsened over time. And that's it. And if the chiropractor tells you, that's not true, I'm just gonna crack your bones for like 2 months, come in 3 times a week, and I'm gonna put them in place and reduce your lumbar lordosis or scoliosis. Like, I've been there, I've done it, my scoliosis quote unquote reduced, and then it went right back to its original place once I stopped the adjustments. Moral of the story is, your vertebrae are already in the position and in the shape that they're going to come back to that shape when you alter. They're not going to stay because they just don't fit that way. I'm not a chiropractor and I'm not a doctor, so how about you talk to your doctor about this? And I'm going to stop throwing medical assumptions out there, but never have I ever seen a person who's had adjustment done and the adjustment just stayed. It always came back to its original place. I wonder why. Okay, so neck, we're not going to stretch. We're going to strengthen our neck, okay? Why are we going to strengthen our neck? Because when we sit at the computer, we do this. So naturally, our chest is tighter, and this in the back, our neck, which is responsible for retracting our neck and keeping our shoulders down, our neck straight instead of falling forward, those muscles are normally weak. Those are your traps, those are your rhomboids. Those are your rear delts, actually. Rear delts are weak, probably 90% of people that I've trained, 90% of people that I've seen. And you can strengthen them by doing the face pulls, right? You attach a band at the post in front of you and you just pull it in front of your face. Hi, dog. Hi, dog. This is Simcoe. Simcoe is a good boy. How do we strengthen our traps? We do pulling movements. I get this question a lot. How can I strengthen my back at home? It is very hard to strengthen your back at home unless you're strong enough to do pull-ups, which most women aren't, most elderly people aren't, and those are the people that reach out to me the most. It's like, how can I just do something light, not intimidating, something I can't mess up for sure, something I already know how to do, but I really need to strengthen my back? And my answer is bands. Bands, 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 and bands once more. Bands are your best friend. You can sit on the floor and pull it down. You can stand up and pull it up. You can do deadlifts. You can step on a band. You can search for these videos on my channel. You can step on a band and do deadlifts with a band. Excellent exercise. Double the band up when you get strong enough. For beginners, I would say it's an excellent way to strengthen your back muscles. Once you grow strong enough, yes, you can start doing pull-ups, you can start doing barbell deadlifts, but at that point, you're probably going to start going to the gym, and we're going to have a totally different conversation on strengthening your back. What's the next muscle people are usually trying to stretch? Lower back. Oh, my lower back hurts. Oh, I sit. Oh, I hunch. Kyphosis. I have my lower back lordosis. My pelvis is tilted anteriorly. My thoracic spine is hunched. So how do I fix that? Well, you do not stretch your lower back, I'll tell you that. Lower back needs strengthening. Lower back does not have vertebrae protecting it. So I would only stretch your lower back if you're an advanced athlete and you know what you're doing. Beginners or intermediate, you usually need to strengthen that. You need to build the muscular core set to keep your lower back in place and to protect it from doing extra work, because usually people's glutes are underactive and people try to pick stuff up using lower back more than the glutes. Or if they're not warmed up, the glutes might not fire up as much as they normally would when they are warmed up and we are already training. Let's say you don't think that you're really exercising when you're helping a friend move a couch, or picking up heavy grocery bags, or picking up something in your yard. And you picked it up, and next day you wake up and something's tight. Something feels like you pulled your back, but it wasn't that heavy. But you didn't think about it as an exercise. And you see athletes pick up weights no matter where they are. Normally athletes just have a habit of picking the weights up with better posture. So I would say the majority of people who are not as experienced in training get hurt during these movements, not because they're weak, but because they're not thinking about it like they're exercising, right? So the majority of my clients actually get hurt outside of the gym because they just don't treat putting something up on a tall shelf or like jumping somewhere, picking something up as exercise. So they ignore the posture, they ignore the safety, they don't warm up. You probably need to warm up if you're going to move a bunch of furniture in a heavy apartment. Duh. I used to work managing commercial construction projects. We did morning warm-ups for the entire crew that was laborers and people who worked outside on the project. Superintendents, everybody. Everybody did it. Stretch and flex, it was called. Just Google it. Movements for stretch and flex for commercial construction. Everybody did it. Why? Because we needed it, because it drastically reduced injury risk. Why do we think we're better as humans who don't do this on the daily basis? And we think, can wing it? No, you can't wing it. Warm up your ass, then pick up heavy objects, okay? Do not stretch your lower back. Your lower back needs to be strengthened. How do you strengthen lower back? Well, what does lower back do? Lower back bends this way and extends. Where does it actually do work? Where it extends. So you can do Supermans, you can lay on your stomach and raise your upper body, and you can lift your legs from the floor. Superman is an excellent exercise for your lower back for beginners. You do not need equipment, you literally lay on your belly, raise your arms, and raise your legs. Excellent. That is for beginners at home with no equipment. Now, you can make it more challenging. You can do those with a band towards you. You can do swimming Supermans. When you're at the gym, you can do deadlifts. Of course, you can do barbell back squats. Of course, you can do bench press. Of course, any compound movements, Olympic lifting, they're great for strengthening your lower back. But if you do not have a proper understanding of how the lower back moves, such as what is the difference between bending your lower back and hinging in your hip, let's learn proper portions of the deadlift. I already have a couple of short videos on the deadlift that you can watch on the channel, but I probably need to record the very beginner guide of how to properly hip hinge, how to test yourself that you are hinging in the hip. What else can we do for lower back? You can do extensions, so you can affix your legs and raise your torso. You can lay on an object such as a ball and raise your legs, right? So kind of like a Superman, except more range of motion, right? So back extensions or reverse back extensions, GHR, amazing. All right, moving on. People think they need to stretch lower back, but they actually need to stretch glutes. You need to stretch your butt, okay? Yes, butt is a wonderful big muscle that is a foundation of your back. Of course, you want a beautiful, strong, round, and pretty butt. That is excellent. Let's stretch it so that when you do a hip hinge or when you bend over in the hip and reach forward, you don't do this by hunching your lower back. You can do as much of that movement as possible by hinging in the hip. It's much more effective, and it is better for your lower back to just maintain static tension rather than create tension in between each vertebrae when you can do this with the glute. Deadlift. wonderful glute exercise. Squat, wonderful glute exercise. Lunges, wonderful glute exercise. Lunges you can do at home. Pretty much just as effective for the glutes as a hip thrust. But at home, I probably do deadlifts with a band, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, also excellent. But now let's talk about stretching your glutes. What do you actually do for stretching? Let's stretch some glutes. Hi. So the easiest thing you can do to stretch your glutes is just lay down and put one foot on top of the other. Amazing. Now you can press with your arm on the knee that is up. If you can hug the leg that is standing on the floor and pull it in slightly. If you cannot reach this leg, you can grab a band or a towel and grab the leg with it and still hold it. If that is too much of an uncomfortable position for you, I have a hack. You're going to take those legs and place them on the wall and do exactly the same thing, except you don't need to hold anything because your foot is on the wall. Amazing. Your heel is on the knee. Gently push if you can. Hang out here and breathe for 2 minutes. Best glute stretch. And you can move into pulling your knee in once your foot has been on the wall and you are a little bit more comfortable. Then you can grab under the knee and pull in a little bit. What is the second best glute stretch? Child pose. Love me a child pose. Everybody knows a child pose. Yoga people are better than me teaching it, but I'm just gonna demo real quick. You're just pulling your back apart, dropping those glutes. You can spread the knees, or you can keep them together. What I personally also like is I like to have something to hold on to. For example, like a foot of a chair or a table or couch, and I'll grab that and I'll drop my glutes in the opposite direction, and I will push with the other hand off of the floor. Same thing other way. I'll grab and push and drop my glutes that way. Fantastic. By the way, the previous stretch that I was showing, you can also do on the chair. So if you sit on the chair, you can do this, press down, stretches your glute just as much. I'll show you 2 more glute stretches and then we can move on to the quads. Pigeon pose is a wonderful one. I cannot show it on my right knee because I have a torn meniscus, and if I bend it in weird directions and especially bend it a whole lot and then twist it and put pressure on it, it's gonna flip on top of itself. And I'm gonna have to take 3 weeks off of squats. I can't do that because I'm 5 weeks out of competition. So if you have messed up meniscus, be careful with pigeon pose. I warned you. So I'm gonna do on the left knee that is healthy, has no problem doing the pigeon pose. Again, check with your doctor before doing the pigeon pose, or grab some support and ease into it like I'm going to right now. So how do a lot of people do the pigeon pose? You will go, do your yoga, do your warriors, and then you drop your knee, and then you walk your foot over, and then you drop this knee on the ground. And then you have this huge lumbar lordosis, and you reach to the sun or whatever. What is stretching here? Definitely not glute. My back is stretching. And I'm opening my hips. This is a very ineffective way to do a pigeon pose. I would say it's not a pigeon pose at all. So we're going to alter it a little bit. Please, yoga people, excuse me for this. We're purely talking functional glute stretching. If you want to do proper pigeon pose from yoga, I'm not your gal, okay? So I am going to grab a pillow, a bolster. Actually, let's grab a bolster. Sorry, puppy. You can grab a foam roller, roll up a towel, grab a bolster, doesn't matter. And nice to have a wall as a support. As I'm dropping my knee, I'm looking that my lower back is not sending itself into perpetual lordosis, but it's relatively straight. My shin is more or less perpendicular to my, to my hips. And I am really supporting my body with my arms straight into the floor so that it's not really about the knee dropping to the ground. I'm just looking for that feel of the stretch in my left glute, the one that's closest to the wall. This one's doing nothing. The other one is stretching. Maybe I should turn around. I should turn around to show you. Okay. Carefully drop it. I can walk my bolster in. If that is too much of a stretch, awesome. Great. And then I can lay down. I can stay supported. The key is not doing this and taking all of the stretching tension off of the glute, keeping my lower back straight and keeping the stretch here. Pushing that knee down slowly as you are comfortable. Breathing through it and just staying here. Keeping your hips square. All right. Amazing. Woo! I feel that. I wish I could do this stretch on the other knee. But, well, actually with support, I can. I just can't twist it and put pressure on it. But yeah, actually I can even do this on my injured knee with a bolster because I'm stretching the glute. I'm not trying to get down and get up using the knee in this weird position. So yeah, this is excellent. If you do this, let me know in the comments which stretch is your best favorite and your least favorite. Amazing. What other stretch do people do for the glutes? They think that this is a good stretch for the glutes. Again, we're mainly bending lower back here, right? I want for you to bend glutes, right? Hip hinge. Slightly bend your knees so it's not as much tension on the nerves around your sacrum. So we're going to slightly bend the knees. And actually, you can do a downward dog from here, or you can just hang out here and stick your bent leg forward and stretch the hamstring and the glute. If you can't reach your toe, you can use a band, or you can just lean over and use something as a support. If you are here, there's no need to reach forward and bend your back, okay? Just reach forward as much as you can with a straight back, because when you bend your back, glutes are not stretching anymore, right? Hamstrings are not stretching anymore. So you can see the difference on each side with me, because as all humans, I'm an uneven human. Great. And lastly, downward dog. I am sliding in here because it is carpet and I need a yoga mat. All right, we're done with our glute stretches. Before I go back on the couch, let's stretch some quads. Hamstring glute stretch, and the downward dog also stretched hamstrings. Do we really need to stretch hamstrings? Well, let's think about it. How do I sit on a chair? Like this, right? This is contracted, this is elongated. Right? Makes sense. Contract, elongate. I am going to stretch my quads. My favorite way to stretch quads is, of course, a couch stretch or a wall stretch if you're a pro. I'm not a pro. My couch is just over there and I'm filming here. So I'm going to stretch my poor quads using a couch stretch or wall stretch by this wonderful wall and use this foam roller as a prop. So I'm going to slide with my knee up against the wall. I also have this stretch exclusively filmed as a video without all of this talking over it. If you want to search for it, couch stretch or quad wall stretch on this channel. And then slowly, I'm going to start getting up into a proposal position. Amazing. And I'm going to try to not get my lower back bent, just like previously in the pigeon pose. Keep it straight. No anterior pelvic tilt in my lower back. And as I breathe, I can bounce with my hips a little bit, look in different directions. With my prop and with my hand on the knee, I can slowly start getting up. Getting up is not really the point. The point is getting a good stretch. So if you're getting a good stretch when you're all the way down or when you're all the way down like this, that's totally fine. I am going to slowly get up until my lower back starts bending, and then that's my limit. That's when I get uncomfortable, and that's when the stretch loses its benefits, right? Because the wrong parts are bending, and I'm supporting myself with lower back bend, with anterior pelvic tilt, rather than stretching my quad. Woo! I don't know if you can tell, but this is really stretching right now. So yeah, I'm going to hold that for a minute or two, at least for each leg. It is best to do this barefoot. If you do this in stiff shoes, your heel, like, can you see that my heel is all the way close to my ankle? With your shoes, it will be like this. Like, they'll prevent your toe just sliding up the wall. And my goal with this is to get all the way up when I'm like holding a tall stick. But as you can see, this is going to be very different for both knees. So that was my healthy knee. This is my injured knee. And I want you to see the difference. Woo, we're starting low. And it's already stretching. It is very nice to have a prop. You can have a table, you can have a chair. It doesn't have to be a foam roller. I do like to rotate my thoracic spine when I do this, because then I feel like all muscles in my quads are stretching, not just one. So I think this is a weaker quad because it is much easier for me to stretch it. Do you see the difference? I'm already so upright and my lower back is still not bending. It's still relatively straight, but I'm so much higher up than on the other leg. So clearly the other leg is doing more work, the other quad is doing more work, and it is more tight. So I need to stretch it more. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk. We're not going to go back on the couch with this. If you have any questions about what you need to stretch and what you need to strengthen, let me know. Oh, yeah, last thing I didn't mention, hamstrings. Duh, they're right under your butt. Great muscle to strengthen. They look wonderful. Your quads are about like 3 times the size as hamstrings, unless you work on your hamstrings. For most people who do not train, for most people who do train, like you see this line right here, that separates your quad from your hamstrings. So my hamstrings are bigger than most people's because I train them. But they're still smaller than the quads. And you would benefit from more balance front to back side of your body. So you're not an anteriorly dominant human being, stressed and tight on the front and weak and unsupported on the back. So if you kind of noticed the trend, we needed to stretch muscles on the front more than on the back, right? We need to stretch chest, we need to stretch quads. And we need to strengthen what? We need to strengthen the back of your neck, your thoracic spine, your traps, right? We need to strengthen your lower back. We need to strengthen glutes, and we need to stretch them. Those are both. And we need to strengthen hamstrings. So with that, we're gonna wrap. And let me know if you have questions in the comments, or if you want for me to break down any of these stretches more. I'm happy to do that. And until next time, bye. Oh, like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all of the YouTube things, and share the video with the person who refuses to stretch.